So let's look through this riddle, see if you can figure it out with your group. I am the first on earth, the second in heaven. I appear twice in a week, though you can only see me once in a year. What am I? Without cheating on your phone, talk to your neighbor. What do you think it would be?
Sorry. Morgan.
All right, do we have any guesses for a riddle? Abby thinks she knows, Max thinks she knows, Amanda thinks she knows. Raise your hand if you have a good guess, but you're not certain. Raise your hand if you don't have a good guess. Okay, let's see. Abby, what did you get?
The letter E.
It is the letter E. Absolutely, the letter E. The first on earth, the second in heaven, appear twice in a week, then you can only see me once in a year. Remember, we like to get you thinking, okay, in social studies, get you thinking. And I am just looking fast, trying to see. You guys, I'm sorry. This threw me just a little bit, our seating arrangement, which is, okay. Today, really quickly, this is Johnny O behind you. Just ignore him. I hate to say that, but he's going to just be filming our classes this week. So just try to stay out of the tripod's way, but be yourself. He just wants to see what we do normally, okay? Today we're going to discuss planning for social studies and how to integrate social studies with other subjects. I get this on your feedback, but raise your hand if you've seen social studies so far in your practicum. Raise your hand if you've seen a dedicated social studies time that's not been integrated with anything else. Look around. No one, okay? There's a reason for that. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today. So I want you to talk with your partner. I was going to do it in your group. You're going to talk with your partner. Why do language arts, math, and even science get more attention than social studies in elementary schools today? Talk with your partner. Ready, set, go.
Society has so much pressure on art and art and math and
Okay, who's got a good idea? Let's go back together. We'll do the kids. In 3, 2, 1. You guys don't clap in elementary schools. Try to get ready. In 3, 2, 1. And that means your voice stopped. You're ready to go. You guys are great. I need to know your attention signals. What do you think? Why don't we have social studies as much as the other subjects? What were some things you talked about with your partner? Or that your partner talked about? Yeah, Sam.
We talked about how, like with language arts, you need to know how to read for all of the other subjects. So that's like a huge, like that's your like groundwork. And then all of the jobs right now are in math and science.
Okay, so jobs are driven by math and science, and reading, we know if they can't read, it's hard for kids to get through the rest of their education, even succeed in the world if they don't know how to read. Great ideas. Any other ideas? Yeah, Astrid.
We probably said like you're tested more on language arts and math, and like in certain grades on science and stuff like that. You're not really tested on social studies.
Okay, great idea. I saw one more hand somewhere over here. Yes.
The great push is for STEAM, and the S does not stand for social studies.
Okay.
It stands for science.
Okay, did you have something else,
Yeah,
John?
so we were just saying that social studies is so broad, and it's not like, whereas math is, this is math, science is science, and language arts is language arts, but yeah, it's just very broad.
Okay, all really good ideas, you guys, and it's true, we need social studies more than ever in our crazy world today. Understand how to understand each other and interact with each other and learn from the past, and it's great. Astrid hit it right on the head. The reason it's not taught as often is it's not tested. What's tested gets attention, and if it's not tested, it doesn't get attention. You're right, there's a push for STEAM. Our careers are math and science. Reading is, I would say, arguably, that's a civil right to make sure you can read. People can't be successful without that reading. But social studies is still really important, but we don't test on that. There was a push a couple years back where they were going to say, we're going to start testing social studies. And teachers panicked. Why? Their day is completely filled already, right? So we got to integrate wherever we can. Let's talk about what does integration mean. If I have a book and I read a book to you while I'm teaching science, did I necessarily integrate language arts? No. Okay, It's great that I have a book, but I have to have a specific standard, something I'm teaching with language arts and with science if I'm going to integrate those two things. So we're going to look to integrate a lot with social studies, and that's going to be our focus today. Please know it is important. Social studies helps kids feel safe, secure, understand, they learn social skills, but you're not going to see it in your practicum individually almost anywhere. For sure not in Canyons. I don't think you will in Iron County, and probably not at GWA. So I want to look at a 5th grade social studies standard based on the Revolutionary War. So let's pretend for a second Jamie's a 5th grade teacher, again. Not I used to be, I'm not anymore, but I'm a 5th grade teacher again. And I look at standard 2 and it says students will understand the chronology and significance of key events leading to self-government. And I keep reading through the objectives and I get to objective 2 and it says evaluate the Revolutionary War's impact on self-rule, and more specifically, indicator B says profile citizens who rose to greatness as leaders. So I'm thinking, okay, my students have got to know the people that were leaders in the Revolutionary War. Is that kind of what you're getting out of that? I know that that's true, and I know I've got to integrate. So I'm looking through my other standards, and I get to language arts. Again, 5th grade. Sometimes people get a little bit confused. I found this really great 1st grade social studies, and I'm going to throw it in with my 5th graders. Nope, we got to teach the same grade, the same level core, okay? So I look at my 5th grade language arts, and it's talking about writing informative text clearly. Well, then my little bell goes off in my head. Hey, I could combine social studies with informative text. As I'm looking through the writing standard 2, I noticed that there are 3 indicators. Notice I didn't put all of them. I only did A, B, and D. That I thought I could probably put these together. I could probably integrate these 2 topics. Write informative explanatory text to examine a topic and convey ideas and information clearly. Could I have my students convey information about the leaders of the Revolutionary War? Yeah, I think I could, okay? My indicators are introduce a topic clearly, provide a general observation and focus, and group-related information logically. And just FYI, 5th grade students have to do that on a writing test at the end of the year, so it is important, and this is tested. Develop the topic of definitions, concrete details, quotations, or other information, and examples related to the topic. Use precise language and domain-specific vocabulary to inform about or explain the topic. So I can put these together, okay? So then I've got to write 2 objectives for my lesson. And you'll notice my first objective is students will report on citizens who rose to greatness as leaders during the Revolutionary War. Does that cover that standard and that objective that I looked at in social studies? You bet. My language arts objective is students will explain facts about individuals from the Revolutionary War by writing information clearly. Does that cover my language arts? It does. So I'm going to say we're going to introduce our Revolutionary War unit and writing with this little project, and we're going to do this today, okay, so we can figure it out. Now, I picked an example. We're going to make a report in a box. Has anyone ever seen a report in a box? Oh, some of you, a couple of you. Okay, these are really fun. We're going to make these today. I did not pick a Revolutionary War, a person that rose to greatness during the Revolutionary War. For my example, I picked someone who was already in lots of power during the Revolutionary War to show you as an example. But I'll have you guys do people that rose to greatness. So, if you'll notice, I picked King George III, all right? Maybe not on America's side, but still someone important in the war. If we learn about King George III, I can see that in 1760, King George took over the throne, and he was right in the middle of the 7 Years' War. Part of that was the French and Indian War that they were fighting over in the Americas to see who could control the land that was east of the Mississippi. After they won the French and Indian War, then King George, he said, you know what, American colonies, you can do what's called salutary neglect, which basically means you're part of England, we control you, but you kind of govern yourself. You don't have to, we're not going to be there to enforce everything. So the colonists got really good at governing themselves. They just kind of did what they felt they needed to do. But then King George realized, you know what, that war cost a lot of money, and I'm in great debt from that French and Indian War. And so, you know what, to pay for that, we're gonna put in a lot of taxes on the colonists. And he started taxing things like paper, sugar, tea, and he started taxing all of these things. Well, the people got a little bit upset. As you can see, my angry emoji face that I had to look up because I wasn't sure how to draw. They were upset. Hey, no taxation without representation. You're making all these laws over in England. We don't have any say in it, and we're the ones being punished. And they were getting angrier and angrier with the king. So King George decided, I'm going to send in some soldiers to make those people behave and do what I want them to do, which only made people even angrier. All of a sudden the citizens came and they wrote the Declaration of Independence. They said, King George, we don't want anything to do with you anymore. We want to be our own nation. And it led to the Revolutionary War, which eventually, when it was over, then King George gave said, yeah, you won, there's your independence. And King George was no longer a ruler over the people. Okay? So a report in a box is basically just that. You just make a report in a box. Okay? So we're actually going to do that today, and so you can get a good feel for what it looks like. And we're going to start by setting up your supplies. So you should have 3 white papers in front of you. And I know there's not glue sticks for everyone. We tried to set them out about every 2 people. Just share where you can. So go ahead and take one of your papers, on with the glue. Uh-oh, this glue is almost gone. It is gone. I'm going to have to just pretend for a second, you guys. Oh, missed. Okay, so what you're going to have to do, yes, is just take a little bit and put just a little strip down the bottom, okay, and stick another one to it. You're going to do that twice so that you've got a nice, big, long strip. When you've got that done, just set it aside, and we'll let that dry, and I'll give this back to Brooklyn. Thanks so much for sharing. So kind.
Ours is dry.
Okay, when you've got it done, just set it aside. And let it dry. If you want to set something on top of it, then that's totally fine too. Okay, we're going to be using this little square next to make our box. Now, as I was informed last semester, there are way more technical ways of making this box than what I'm going to show you. They're probably better, you guys. We're going to do the simplest way to make a box, okay? And if you know a better way, then you're welcome to do that later. But take this square, and I want you to fold it directly in half. See it again?
Like a strong paper.
Yeah, it is cardstock, so it'll hold up. So fold it directly in half. When you've got that, check on your neighbor. Make sure they've got it directly in half. And help them out. They need some help. It's about time. Okay, directly up. Go ahead and open it up. You should see a line down the middle. If you see a line down the middle, give me a thumbs up. Now, I will tell you, you have never been tested in your giving directions as a teacher until you try and help 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th graders fold something. I mean, wow, it is tough. So you got to do a lot of checking with them. Make sure you've got it. Okay, we're going to take this top part and fold it to the middle line, okay? Fold it to the middle line. When you've got it, check your neighbor, see if you can help them. Get it folded to the middle line. Perfect. After you've got that, you're going to do it to the other side. So fold the other side up to the middle line. When you're done, you should have 4 lovely sections in your square. If you're there, give me a thumbs up. Excellent. Looks like most of you are ready to go. Help your neighbors as we go. Okay, we're going to turn it the other way. So we've already folded it like this. And now we're going to fold it to make a new line going down the middle. Okay? And you guys, I just wanted to point out, you're all really great, 5th graders. When you do this with your real 5th graders, you want to go a little slower as they get a little bit flustered. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We've got a line in the middle now. We're going to take both sides and fold it to the center. On both sides. So when you're done, you should have 16 little squares in the middle of your box. When you've got 16 little squares, check on your neighbor. Make sure they also do. Okay, if yours looks good, hold it up so we can see that you're ready to go. Okay, now this is the part that's the hardest for kids. We're gonna give Sam just 1 second.
Oh my
And I know, she's already frustrated with me that I didn't tell her it's exactly 1 3/4 or whatever it is. Okay, now this is the part you have to tell the kids, don't touch your scissors until you've watched me do it. I'm gonna take on my paper, and I'm gonna come in 1 square. Can you guys see that? I'm gonna come in 1 square, and I'm gonna cut to, don't do it, just watch me, cut to the line, okay? Then I'm gonna do it on the other side. Come in and cut to the line. Do I do it on all of them?
No.
Nope, I'm gonna do it on the bottom 2. Go ahead and cut to that first line. And help your neighbor when you're done. And pass the scissors when you're done. Oh, I think I have my scissors. I should have got.
You have an extra pair.
Oh, here, I'll pass it over.
So do I.
Thanks, Sam. Oh, thanks. You said pass them very well. Okay. Do you need some?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you've done it. Who else needed some? You've already got it. Okay. Okay, when you've got that, check your neighbor to make sure you've got one little flappy side. And you're going to turn it around and do the exact same thing on the other side. So notice, here I've got 2 cuts at the top. I'm going to do my 2 cuts at the bottom on those first squares. And then I don't need my scissors anymore. At least for a good long time. Help your neighbor when you get it done. Okay, now we're going to fold up one side of your paper. So we have this side, we are going to fold this one up, and we're going to tuck these 2 over the outside. Okay, when we do that, we're going to put some glue on both sides and fold it in. So just do one side at a time, otherwise your glue will pop off. Okay, you're going to take it, just fold it in. And you'll notice that I've given you a bunch of paper clips. If you want to put a paper clip on each of those flaps while it dries, sometimes that'll help you. You don't have to hold it for nearly as long. If you don't want to do that and you want to hold it, then that is fine too. When you get one side done, you do the exact same thing to the other side. Put some glue on there, and you've made a box. And yes, I do know there are better ways to make a box, but this is the simplest way for kids. And you can use the paper clips if you like, but if you want to hold it, then that's fine too. When you're done, stick your box down and go ahead and grab your paper. Hopefully it's dry by now. And I should have got a ruler out for Sam. Sam, we will look for your ruler, because this part's going to drive you crazy.
It's fine. I'm doing it's all good.
You're good. Okay. You got your box made. Help your neighbor. If you run out of paper clips, I don't know if I put exactly enough on everybody's. There's more right here by Astrid. You're welcome to come grab them. Okay, go ahead and set your box aside. We won't do anything with it for quite some time. And we're going to show you how to fold the white paper. After that, we're not going to glue it in yet because it's a lot easier to put your report in a box on the outside and then glue it in. But we want to fold it so that you know where those folds will be. So anyone's still working on your box? We'll give you just a second.
It's good.
And I don't, if you want to pinch it, then that's fine. I know that some people like that better, and that's totally fine. Okay, you're going to take your white paper, and this is, I was trying to guess on the dimensions. I'm going to say it's probably about 3.5 inches. But you just want to see about where would it fold in your box. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. If it's not perfect, it still works, okay? So don't panic. But I want you to fold it about 3.5 inches, about that far down, at the very top. Okay, when you got it, give me a thumbs up.
Hey, I don't know what I was thinking, but I glued only 2.
Just start with the 2. You can glue the third one on in a minute.
All right.
Some people don't even need the third one, but some people do. So, okay, after you've done that, you're going to go accordion style. So I went forward this way. I'm going to go backwards on the next fold. Does that make sense? So I went forward this way. I'm going to go backwards on the next fold. In an accordion accordion-like fashion. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Some of you it does, have to be perfect. Okay, and then you're going to do it again. So accordion-like, you go frontwards, backwards, frontwards, backwards. Sometimes you'll hit the little blue fold and they'll be a little bigger or a little smaller. That's okay. Okay, and just keep going. You'll probably trim off the end anyway, so don't panic. Forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. And don't glue it in your box yet. We'll do that at the very last thing. Okay, help your neighbor forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. And if you've done it about right, you should have an end that's not right on. Or if you did it right on, it's totally right here. That's the part you'll glue in the bottom, so don't worry about that. Okay, excellent. Now, you guys, we're going to talk about what we're going to do for our reports, and then I'm going to put you into groups only for such a small group this time, and I love it that it's so much smaller. But is there anyone who wants to work alone on your project? And you do not have to say yes. Okay, good. We're all in it together. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what is expected, and I'm going to give you a person and some research that you and your partner can put this together and make a report in a box based on someone in the Revolutionary War. But I want to make sure that we're all on the same page, okay? So if we look at it, we need it to be 6 to 8 pages, or 6 to 7, pages. I had 6 last semester, and somebody panicked. I need another one. Like, I don't care. Do more than that if you want. 1 page is each little fold. So here's 1 page, here's the 2nd page, the 3rd page. Does that make sense? So 6 pages or 6 folds. Does that make sense? Okay, the very first one, I need you to put the name of your person, really, big and bold so that we can see it. And I need you to draw a picture. Now, I am not an artist, as most of you found at Kevin last week, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information, and there's a little cartoon drawing of your person, and I just tried to copy the cartoon drawing. If you want to copy the cartoon drawing, great. If you're like, Jamie, I can draw much better than that, fine. I don't care if you do something different, okay? Then we need to, on all the other ones, on the either 5 or 6 that are left, we're going to focus on facts, definitions, details, or quotations that you find in the reading about who your person was and why they became important to the cause for independence in the Revolutionary War, okay? Sometimes you're going to be getting some facts and you're going to go, oh, I don't know, this might be a cool fact. I'm not so sure. There was a lot about King George, but it didn't necessarily have to do with the Revolutionary War. So focus on the facts that deal with the Revolutionary War. Does that make sense? If you're trying to decide, would this one be better or would this one be better? Now, I want to show you. I've got some facts. Like 1970 is when he came to power. We've got some definitions. Raise your hand if you knew before today what salutary neglect was. Oh, hey, nice, Bailey. Okay, I didn't know before everything. Okay, I've got a definition. Let's see some details. We talked about the taxes. I've got a quotation, no taxation without representation, and then some more details. Do you have to have all of these in your report? No, but that's what we're focusing on. Okay, so make sure we're focusing on those things and why it's important. The writing part of it, we want to make sure that we're writing really clearly. Please don't write so nobody else can read your work. You have to say that to 5th graders every single day. Please make sure that you write so someone else can read your work, okay? We also want to make sure we're writing in complete sentences, which means what? Punctuation, capitalization, what else? Subject and predicate. Make sure you're writing in complete sentences, okay? If you want to outline it in marker, you're welcome to. I did it so that you guys could see it no matter where you are in the room. You don't have to, okay? Up to you. I've got markers around the room. There are colored pencils I put out over there along with some more markers. You can use the information that I'm going to give you. I've also brought my book. Who's already got their book? You guys, this is awesome. But on page 30, no. And then I'll leave it open up here. On page 200, if you have it, 291, there's a whole bunch of influential people in the Revolutionary War and a little bit of information about what they did. I'll leave it open right here. You're welcome to use this. You're also welcome to use, of course, the internet, your phone, to find your facts. Okay, so I need 8 volunteers. Just 8. Raise your hand and I'll bring it to you. Write your name on this. Write your name on that. There's 2, 3. Write your name on it. 4. Write your name on it. 5. Thank you. Write your name on it. 6. Write your name on it. 7. Write your name on it. I need 1 more. And 8. Write your name on it. Okay. Once you've got your name on it, I need you to hold it up in the air. Okay, those of you who do not have a sticky note, I need you to close your eyes, no peeking, no cheating. Use your hands, close them, cover them up if you don't have a sticky note. Okay, those of you, keep your eyes closed. Those of you with the sticky note, I need you to crunch it up so you can't see your name. Crunch it up really small. And throw it at me right here in the middle of the room. Nice shot.
Right between the legs.
Okay.
Going.
Oh, shoot. Hang on, I'll throw it back in. Is that, oh, let's see, we have it, yes. Okay, open your eyes. Those of you who had your eyes closed, I need you to come and pick up one piece of paper that's your partner, and you can tell them who you found for your partner.
Good luck.
Yeah, that
I'd
one's
speak
weird.
by reading the paper.
Okay, go ahead and tell them who's your partner.
Micro is so mad at
Okay, find your partner, just so you know, everyone knows who your partner is?
Morgan.
Excellent. Okay, I've got 9 papers left. I'm going to take out George Washington just because you guys probably already know quite a bit about him. Normally, I would definitely have kids do George Washington, but because of the group that we have, I'm going to have you do something else. So, Brooklyn, who's your partner?
Sarah.
Okay, you guys are going to be Benedict Arnold. Don't get together yet, okay? Sierra, who's your partner?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, you guys are going to do Abigail Adams. Don't get together quite yet. Bailey, who's your partner?
Sean.
Sean, you and Sean are Benjamin Franklin. Okay, Judith, who's your partner? Who is it? Oh, gosh, Abby. Okay, you guys have James Madison. Who's your partner, Brittany? Who is it?
Sheree.
Oh, sorry, Sheree. You guys are John Adams. Rebecca, who's your partner? Oh, that's right. You've already got a partner. Cindy, who's your partner this morning? You guys have got Patrick Henry. Mads, who's your partner? You and Sam are Paul Revere. And who's left?
Me and Amanda.
You and Amanda, you guys got Thomas Jefferson, okay? Now, before we get started, do you have any questions about what you're going to do to make your report in a box? Any questions, any concerns? Where do you have to use information from?
Our paper.
Anywhere. The paper, you can use the book, you can use the internet. How many slides do you need to have? 6 to 7. Do you need to does it have to every little slide be colored? No, but it helps if you have time. Okay, Morgan, make sure you're with us. And make sure that you're focused on facts, definitions, quotations, and details, okay? If you want, it's up to you. If you want, you can just make one really nice one, or you and your partner can each make one so you have an example. I don't care. If you just want to make one, then that's fine. If you want to make 2, then that's fine, okay? You're going to have, 30 minutes to make your, we'll see. We're going to say 20 to 30 minutes and see how far you are to make your report in a box. If you have questions, let me know. Go get with your partner on your mark, get set, and go.
Just come over here.
Sure.
Or we should go to the full table. Oh, you're going over?
Yeah, I can go there. Yeah, I can go there. Just because it's more.
People, like, a little bit like driving. This one is just more.
Nothing on it.
Oh, look, sir.
Okay, mine is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
This one is the same.
So is there any, that's fine. Is there anything from here that would but like, I maybe that he's born in. Okay. And maybe that does that matter? Well, we'll write it down. It's all right here. We can always not be so good.
Here's one that actually
Oh, nice. I have no idea what Orange January 17th and then January 6th both stuff. What that mean?
Yeah, okay. We decided Congress was based on population.
And did you represented the British soldiers?
They get the 2 senators, while they have population.
Or should we include more in those part two? We could do. Oh, yeah, the jail.
Which is why you wear it.
Representative. Yeah.
Yeah, because 2 different days probably.
I'm thinking we should start with 1787 Constitutional Convention.
Or they attended the meeting and spoke. Okay.
And then the next one would be
I think it's a.
and then we have 3 branches.
I did muscle.
Okay, so.
Very
No,
unorganized.
So you're gonna say he's the father of the.
So we start with 1787. He's the father of the Constitution, and then we created the 3 branches, or proposed 3 branches. Let's do that
On his name, the name page?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that way it's not confusing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then.
Do we want to write the dates next to it?
Yeah.
Congress is on population, the House of Reps. Yeah, he needs to do it right.
I gotta read this last paragraph.
When he was told he was the father of the Constitution, he said, no, and this is the one quote we quote from. He says, the Constitution was not an offspring to him, but it work in many heads.
So then we also read that one.
Okay. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's where he's the president. And when we say he's the president, he was the smallest. He's the smallest person as the president of the people in less than 100 counties. That would be the way to show it.
And then I think we should go because I was.
Okay. Okay, so the first one.
They were happy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Okay, so the first one is because page. So it's. No, and you're gonna put his birthday on here, March 16, 17, 15. Little, yeah, I know, I was thinking.
Okay, are we gonna just do one? So I can start to write like our main important events just down, so we can know which ones, which order they go.
Just so it's kind of like.
So at age 24, so at 30, 30.
Okay, should we just sign that? I would just say she was.
Okay, well, he might have said version, but also I found stuff that says that because they were all very passive process. So he might not like
Two different.
And then that's.
okay, yeah, I read that. So
That
I thought that would be a quote, but like also,
and you're like, oh,
is it X?
I'm gonna write that down. Oh,
Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Okay, you want to do one or two?
Dates are
Let's do one, I'm gonna write down maybe what we should write.
I messed up the first one.
okay. Oh my gosh. So,
Look at these drawings.
she said 67.
Artists in our bedroom. So just make sure you really read order.
Yeah,
This is already
That's
said.
just what I do on the top.
I think,
But it does say that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna write How you guys doing? Are you stuck? See how John has? Ooh, all right. Let me know. How you guys doing? Look at that horse. Talent.
kind of right.
Nice, nice, nice. You
Okay,
guys
so
need help over
technically
there?
that's 3 now.
You got it, okay. Good. Good. Yeah, we go. I'm correct.
And then we could turn this in. We just combine these two. The first meeting and the second one. And the fighting. He was in France getting allies.
Let's pick out
The Treaty of Paris.
definitely electricity.
Vice President Chris White. I skipped.
We started to.
Keep going. Like tiny.
In response to.
Let's start first with
I think that you're gonna have enough. Sworn in and then pass the bar. Just a little bit like
childhood maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah, do you want to leave?
Let's do like date or, I like the main idea of it.
So like childhood, maybe?
I don't know if that's too much for you to write.
No, that's fine.
So I just said, I guess, for sure.
Either way.
He helped me through the Sons of Liberty, started to protect the rights of the colonists on the insurance.
I'm like, I don't care. I just copied it. He was old. Like, for most of it. He kind of was.
Oh my gosh, I don't like this pencil at all.
As a child, he was kind of wild.
I feel weird writing that. Yeah. But, I mean, it's just true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. His eyes are big. He wasn't, yeah.
It is a kid. Yeah. I feel so old compared to an 18-year-old. Okay.
Wait, he's like the house. Who said that? Why would we do
Me?
How old are you?
22.
You're still just a baby.
No, I'm not. I'm old. I hate it.
22.
Oh, no.
Man.
This was the Boston paper.
You know, like a label. That's, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, the title for worship. We should do make the title.
Oh. Well, we can do like a huge quote of the speech thing and then talk about the speech about it. So
I think that there was a battle. So,
Stand back.
okay. I'm just gonna have that. Just like
I like
in
that.
response.
Okay, this one?
Yeah.
Yes. we'll do that.
It also talks about, I don't know if we ever did this, but it says it occurred as a result of the monopoly. So they were being taxed so high on all these goods, but they couldn't get them from anywhere else.
Whatever it is. Why can't they come up with better names? With less S's.
Yeah, okay, so then he like, let's see, if he wants something.
So this was, the point of this correspondence was to deliver messages to important colonial leaders, to maintain communication with those leaders. So where were they was it from like leader to leader?
Elected officials in Virginia, that's what that was. Totally.
Honestly,
It sounds like me too.
Who knows? Yeah.
Here's one.
Oh, yeah.
So he began to, so they're working for the correspondent. As an express writer, while also keeping a watchful eye on the British soldiers.
So the senators, I'm gonna say, two senators, first lady,
I was actually
Two leaders. Yeah.
To finish up.
5.
10. Okay, I'll give you 10 more minutes.
Let's see when he said 1775. March 1775.
I guess you could say that he was captured.
I'm just leaving the speech.
But released the next morning. And then that same day, you have a shot. Maybe it looks good. Is this yours? You glue it into somebody else's.
Anyways.
Yep.
Reproduce it, let them do a little research on Monday.
and then create all this.
Create it on the next day, finish it up. Also
like a third or fourth day.
I wouldn't do this. The best song? It is. You guys would do this fast forward.
Well, that's fine.
But yeah, no, fifth graders, I think we actually. That's only
I could see that.
Pretty like 20 to 30 minutes.
I have the King George song from Hamilton stuck in my head now.
It's our way.
There you go again.
Yeah, I could see these kids having more fun than the sport of golf and big whooping.
Oh, yeah.
I did listen to that song over and over again. Yeah, it's the best song.
Are they like a type of pants?
Yeah.
Shorts?
Knickers.
Is that what these are?
Knickers. Knickers. Knickers.
Also, I have the Lafayette.
All right, you guys, go ahead and glue your, whoops, let me turn the alarm off. Whoops, I turned it back on. Go ahead and glue your, if you haven't already, glue your report into the bottom of your box. So your very last little piece, I don't know if you can see on mine, I just glued a little piece into the bottom so that it will stand up. If you haven't already. And we are going to, everybody stand up and stretch because you've been sitting for far too long. So everybody stand up and just stretch for a minute. Stay with by your partner, though, don't go back to your own
Just
seat.
opposite.
Okay, and we're just gonna go around the room and we'll pick different people and we'll let them stand up and tell us, just like I did, King George, and then go through each of your little facts in your box, okay? So who would like to go first? Who's like, we are brave, we'll go first. Yeah, okay, Sean and Bailey. She's still as he's badly putting the glue on. Okay, all that we're gonna ask is that you're not working on your own while someone else is talking, so please put the markers away. If you need to hold the glue in to make it stay, we understand, but everything else, just look and listen, look at them and listen to them. We're ready, you guys, go for it.
All right, so we have Benjamin Franklin, and this is him. He's got many duties. He's what? A writer, inventor, scientist, and a leader. So that's him.
He was born in 1706. He was one of 17 children. And because of their financial struggles, he didn't start school until he was 8 and was pulled out when he was 10. So he learned how to read and stuff. But
And math was his weak point. He did not like math. So then, in 1730, he opened a printing business and started a paper called the Pennsylvania Gazette, and that was based off of like humor and information. Oh wait, that was the almanac.
yeah,
Never
but
mind.
that one that got all the news and like latest events. And then 1733 and 1738, he started writing a little bit more. He published Poor Richard's Almanac, which people read it for information and humor. And one of the quotes that you hear today that came from that was, "A penny saved is a penny earned." So that came from him.
Yeah. So then, in 1752, he performed an experiment to prove that lightning is a type of electricity, and he invented the bifocal lenses, the lightning rod, the catheter, and many other things. So he was definitely an inventor.
And then 1765, he spoke out against the Stamp Act. This is because the tax affected his printing business, and that kind of what got him angry and involved in helping the colonists break away from the British rule.
And then we kind of go back in time and then forward.
That's right.
Because he did many things. So in 1775 through 1787, he helped draft the Declaration of Independence. After he moved to France as a U.S. representative, he then signed the Treaty of Paris. Then in 1785, he went back to the U.S. and helped, in 1787, helped draft up and sign the U.S. Constitution. So that's his signature there at the bottom.
Nice. All right, give a round of applause. Nice job. Okay, who wants to go next? Anybody in the room? Okay, Sam and Maz. Nice job. Very nice artistry.
Here's you a PLP book. Take one when you leave.
Okay, good move. They moved through. They did.
Okay, so we had Paul Revere. And yeah.
Oh, sorry. So he helped lead the group, the Sons of Liberty, that was started to protect the rights of the colonists. And he did that in response to the Stamp Act and the Sugar Acts.
And then they had the Boston Tea Party, so the Sons of Liberty dressed as Mohawk Indians, and they dumped tea into the Boston Harbor. They did this to protest the Tea Act, which they thought was unfair taxation.
And then he was a writer for the Committee of Correspondence, and it was said that he was a fast and trusted writer. He became, oh wait, that's what I just said. He also, while doing this, so he would deliver messages from leaders, and then while doing this, he also kept an eye on like what the British were doing. So.
And then we put the quote, "One if by land, two if by sea," and so the Patriots would put lanterns in something called the North Church window, and so there would be two if the British were going to come over sea, and one if there was one they were coming by land.
And then his famous midnight ride, so him along with others, they set a route to Lexington, to give warning that the British were coming by sea. He was captured but released that next morning. And that same day, the shot heard around the world was fired and the Revolutionary War had begun.
Nice job. Give a round of applause. Who's ever read the book by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, I believe, that goes, "Listen, my children, and you shall hear the midnight
I
ride."
had to recite that in eighth
That's
grade.
such a great book. If you're ever happy to teach poetry, it's a great book too. Nice job. Who wants to go next and tell us about their person? Go ahead. Yeah, stand up, stand up.
We have Thomas Jefferson. We didn't get around to coloring it, so it's just an annotation.
But it's a fantastic picture, you guys.
So, Thomas Jefferson lived from 1743 to 1826.
So Thomas Jefferson was raised to be very studious. He studied multiple subjects and graduated with honors by 1767. He began practicing law and became interested in politics.
And then in 1774, he attended the First Continental Congress, in which he wrote a summary view of the rights of British America, stating grievances against King George III, and it circulated around the colonies in London, and it was not received well by the King or Parliament.
Why?
So, at the Second Continental Congress meeting shortly after the Revolutionary War began, members discussed how to break away from Britain. Thomas Jefferson was chosen to write the Declaration of Independence because he was a good writer, because he'd already written the other letter, and it was official on July 4th, 1776.
And then during the war, Jefferson served as governor of Virginia from 1779 to 1781. In 1784, he was a U.S. ambassador in Paris, France. And while George Washington was president, he was the Secretary of State. He was the vice president under John Adams, and he was the third president of the United States.
And then he also negotiated the Louisiana Purchase during his presidency, with the French leader Napoleon Bonaparte in April of 1803.
All right, give a round of applause. Good job, you guys. Okay, who would like to go next? Let's do one more. I know we were going to have everybody share, but just for time's sake, let's just do one more. And then the rest we can just pull them out and we'll see your lovely pictures. So we have one more volunteer. Go ahead, Rebecca.
We had Abigail Adams. So Abigail Adams, she did not receive a formal education because most women didn't in those days, but she was taught how to read and write. So that was something that made her stand out.
She married John Adams in 1764, and while he was away, she handled all the business of the farm, which wasn't typical for a woman back then.
At the beginning of the war, she would house and feed soldiers and hide them in her home.
While John was away during the war, they both exchanged over 1,000 letters, but in one of them she wrote, "In the new code of laws, which I suppose it will be necessary for you to make, I desire you would remember the ladies and be more favorable to them than your ancestors."
And then in 1796, John Adams was elected president, and Abigail became the first lady.
Oops, that was it. She remained strong, speaking out against slavery and desiring equal rights for everyone, and then she died in 1818 at age 73.
Nice job, give her a round of applause. So you guys, I want you to think for just a second. Honestly, I didn't give you guys as much direction as I normally give fifth graders. Most of the time you'll notice, a lot of times they'll just put a big date, or they'll put a word that they're going to explain, and they don't write a whole lot, okay? They write a little bit, but they don't write a whole lot. Or maybe I have 2 or 3 that have 3 or 4 sentences, but most of it is what they're remembering. Do you think that's helping them understand what is going on in the person's life? Where have you learned something new about your person? Yeah, did you need to write a 5-page paper is my point to do it? No, okay? You guys, we will kill kids if we go, you know what, you got Benedict Arnold and write a 3-page paper and have this many, and then write history is boring, this is not fun, I'm not getting it. Can I see really quick if you're able to pull out facts, even if you only have 1 or 2 things? 100%, I don't need you to have to write a 5-page paper to be able to do that. So look for ways that you can make things fun when you integrate, but also that you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I can see right away, do they understand King George? Are they able to pull out facts and details, quotations, the things that we had asked for up on the board, okay? So everybody's going to stand up because, you know, you've been sitting for far too long. Grab a blue piece of paper on your way back to your own seat. And if you're in your own seat, still get up and come and get one.
Would you make your 5th graders work in tables and teams? So
I'll be honest, I never did more than 2.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that, because you'll have one kid who sits back and does nothing, and one kid that takes over. But if you have 2, you can come here and so it's, you know, depends on what you're doing, but something like that alone probably do that more. Okay, you guys, so I want you to think about integrating. This is a concrete example. This little boy named Katie moved from my class, and we found this later, and I called his mom and said, oh, I thought I said all this stuff, do you want me to mail it to you? And she said, no, it's all right, so I kept it. But you can integrate in a lot of different ways. The district that I was with, art was huge. We were expected to integrate art every single day into something to keep kids engaged. It is boring if they're sitting there, they read the same thing, they do the same worksheet. They read the same thing, they do the same worksheet. Kids' brains don't engage, and it's not fun for them. So this was something that we did. We had been talking about landforms and what is in different places. That used to be in the science core in 4th grade. And they talked about Joshua trees and coyotes and things like that lived in deserts. And then we learned about different Native Americans and the environments that they lived in. And then the art teacher helped us. We said, we want to do a silhouette where they're creating something that shows us an environment in this desert that the different Native Americans would live in, and then we had them write a poem about it. So they did this in art. They learned about blending the watercolors, and they learned about a silhouette, and this was awesome, and the poem that went with it. We killed lots of birds with 1 stone, so it can be really fun. Another one, I got a couple parent helpers to come help me get these set up, but we were studying Native Americans, 4th grade, and we were focused on the Navajo tribe that week. And we had some people come in, we had Navajo blankets, and we decided we were going to make our own Navajo blankets. Now, obviously, 2 of these were student examples that they didn't want, and I made this one. But and we helped them make a loom, and we talked about the loom. And so what we did is during Read Aloud for that whole week the kids were weaving their yarn, and they were making their own Navajo blankets. They loved this. They thought this was so cool. It became, you know, on the corner of their desk, where they then would hold their, you know, water bottle or whatever it was. They'd come back in and they'd be like, oh, I'm feeling a little cold, and they'd throw it up. I made them take it home after 1 week because it was driving me crazy. They loved it. They loved it. So look for different ways that you can integrate, not just with the core contents, you know, that are tested, but also with art. It is a lot of fun. Okay, we're going to do a little activity. We're going to see how awake you guys are. Books are a great way to also integrate. This is a really, really fun book that I used to read with my 5th graders. Who's ever read Seduction of 1,000 Paper Cranes? Who's never read it before? Okay, well, let me give you just a little bit of background since you don't know what it's about. It's about this little girl, and she was in, now I don't remember if it was Hiroshima or Nagasaki, right there when the atomic bomb was dropped in World War II. And just like many people at the time, she got leukemia afterward because of the effects of the atomic bomb. So she was, you know, obviously wanting to live, and she had read this, I don't know if it was a legend, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember, but if you fold 1,000 paper cranes, then, you know, your wish will come true. Of course, she wanted to live and be healed, so she started folding, and she was trying to get her 1,000 paper cranes so that she could live. She passed away before she got all of her paper cranes built, and her friends finished them for her even after she has passed away. And the paper crane has become sort of a symbol of healing and of hope in hard situations. Who's ever been to Oklahoma City before, to the bombing site? No one's ever been there? Okay, so this one, you can't tell there's pennies on the floor. But they've also put paper cranes, they've made them out of this gold paper, and they're hanging in one of the places when you go through in Oklahoma City. And it's all over. The World Trade Center, they did stuff like that as well. So it's kind of become a symbol of healing. So you can see that I have made a couple of paper cranes, and I'd like you to take that blue paper and go ahead and make a paper crane. Some of you have started. Go ahead and make a paper crane. Oh, would some instructions help a little bit? Okay, I'll bring you some instructions. Go ahead and make a paper crane. Okay, go ahead and make a paper crane.
I'm so bad at that. I could make a box, and that's it. I can make a lot of boxes.
Oh, yeah. I'm just like really bad at folding or I get frustrated.
Yeah, bend it inside out.
How am I doing? So what's it? It's a little bit hard. Okay.
Oh, wait.
I'm confused. Does anyone understand?
Oh, Morgan would like some words. Anyone else need some words? You bet. Morgan requested words. She was like, I need some words.
Like fold it into half and then half. So like there's an X down the corners, and then so like I have an X.
Oh, that makes more sense. Why can't I do
You can use your partners. You can help each other.
Wait, I was supposed to fold it this way.
Yes, it is.
You know, I actually heard, I listened to a podcast on NPR about
Okay, I want this to go there.
Oh, hey, everyone pause real quick. Morgan says she'd like to see it done in front of her. That might help a little bit. Would that help anybody else? Oh, okay. All right, now, I will show you, and I'll do it with you, and I'll show you a video, but you can't talk during it, or you won't hear what the guy's saying on the video, okay? So I want to show you too, this little thing called Safe Share TV. You can take any video and watch it without any ads. It's just kind of nice. Okay, here we go. Are you listening?
Glue, I'm going to show you how to make a paper origami crane. And what I'm going to do different in this tutorial is I'm going to use highlighters to emphasize and illustrate every crease. So it's just going to be a little bit easier step by step for maybe the first time or if you're new to do an origami. So first you're going to need either origami paper or printer paper that you can make into a square. And what you want to do that is basically take this corner and hold it down along that edge.
However, you will want to hold it.
And then take a pair of scissors and cut the excess paper off, just like that.
So we're already going to start like this.
And then when you open it back up, you have a perfect square. And then this is going to be the first of your folds you're going to want to do.
Okay, so
So I'll go ahead and illustrate this one.
And he's going to highlight it because sometimes it's hard to see on paper where the folds are.
And then next, like this fold, you're going to take the other corner and fold it the other way. Just like that.
Okay, if you've got yours folded so you can see like a crisscross in the middle, give me a thumbs up so we're not leaving you behind. Okay, there we go.
And then now you're going to flip it over, and you're going to fold it now in half the other way. To basically two rectangles.
And it helps if you really crease your folds.
And then you want to do it the other way as well. So now on this side, you now have folds basically going the other way.
Okay, does everyone have it so you can go corner to corner like this, corner to corner, in half and in half? Everyone good? Okay.
And then once you get to this point, you're going to want to tilt it like that. And these two folds right here, it's going to kind of naturally want to come together. And you want to fold along those edges and bring these 2 points inward down to the bottom. And then when you do that, and then once you get to this point, you're going to want to tilt it like that. And these two folds right here, it's going to kind of naturally want to come together. And you want to fold along those edges and bring these 2 points inward down to the bottom. And then when you do that, the top, fold those.
Okay, so you got it like this and you're stuck. And you're just going to fold in these two in and squish it down so you make a square. Okay, so it's like this. You take these two and push them in and fold down and make a square. Check your neighbor and make sure they've got it. If your folds aren't very creased, you're going to struggle. Make sure your folds are really creased. Okay, if you got that, you got it like this, give me a thumbs up. Okay? Help your neighbor. Okay, here we go.
Straight down like that. So then now you have the square, basically the kind of 4 little triangular flanges coming out. Then you want to always keep the flaps on the bottom. And then now for the next step, once you get that creased real good, you're going to take this corner right here, this edge, and match along the center crease you have right here.
Okay, so you're just going to take
Just
one flap,
fold these in.
hold it in.
And then once you do that, flip it over and do the same.
Did you see, I'll go back, did you see both sides?
Just
You're gonna do
fold
both sides. So you
these
do one
in.
side, fold it in, you're going to take this other side.
And then once you do that, flip it over
So did you guys see
and
the
do the
both
same
sides?
thing on the other side.
Okay, so you should look like this first. You fold them in and then flip it over and do it on the other side. Okay, does that make sense? Okay.
And then once you do that, flip it over and do the same thing on the other side.
Okay, so you should have, when you've got it like that, hold it up, show your neighbor. That looks like a little kite. Oh, you guys are doing fantastic. Help each other. There's a few of you still working. Help each other and get to that point.
Look at this one, though, the first is way better. Oh.
Okay, are we ready?
And then go ahead and illustrate those for you. And actually, there's one more thing on, so you get those folded on both sides. And instead of the necessary, but I like to do it as an extra step, is when you take the top part right here and give it just a little bit of a crease on top, and that'll help guide a fold later on. First step is when you take the top part right here and give it just a little bit of a crease on top, and that'll help guide a fold later on.
Okay, so you're just taking the top and you're just folding it down.
Whereas what you did it.
Does that make sense? Did anyone not got that part? Okay.
Then you want to go ahead and open up all four sides. I'm going to illustrate all these for you. You fold there, fold there, fold there, right there, and the crease we did right on top. And so now, go ahead and illustrate the inside folds.
Okay, this part, all he's doing is he's going to lift this up and he's going to show you where to fold on these inside folds. So you have it like this and it's all folded. And if you lift it up, that's what he's going to be doing on this next part. So watch this part and you'll see what he does on this part. This part's a little tricky.
Just like that. So you have to fold it like this. And when you did that, also fold the inside. Which then what you want to do is take this bottom flap and push it up. And crease it right there where this fold is. And then on the two inside creases, basically fold those in. Crease the bottom.
Okay, so you got it like this. Woo, sorry, I dropped mine. You got it like this, and you're just going to take one side and pull it up so you see the rest are still there. And then you're going to push these in so it looks like that. Okay, so it's like this. You're going to lift just the top one up and push these in. Help your neighbor.
So are we just inverting the creases?
You're inverting the creases. Okay, so it looks like this so far.
Okay, so.
Help your neighbor.
Just like that. Move that up and like pull these things.
I do it right.
You're done.
Mine is not going to be.
So it's gonna crease right on that piece you have. So send this up this way. No, you have it. But open it like,
Yeah.
No, mine was.
okay, so.
And then come with this all together into a crease just like that. And then flip it over and do the same thing. And then we'll take this and kind of get a little bit of crease the other way. And open it up. And on these two folds right here,
So it looks like this with two little legs when you got both sides. Help your neighbors invert that.
fold those in. And let this all just kind of fall together just like that. To a
Okay, I'm
pretty
gonna go back
spot.
to that part again. Just
And push it up. And crease it right there where this fold is. And then on the two inside creases, basically fold those in. Crease the bottom.
You should have, it'll be
And
two little
then
legs.
come with this all together into a crease just like that.
You went backwards.
And
You should have your little legs. Don't like shove it in, just go right in on this one. It's not gonna be shove it, it's not gonna work. You just go right in on it. You see what I mean? You've got to go right, which is hard because you've got a lot of folds. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
But just try and get them on. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's still gonna be great. So try and flatten that out, and then you're gonna take this. So you have your little legs on the bottom. You know, this one's straight, this one, not the rest. And fold it down really good. And then the other side, just flip it over. Okay? Yes.
I don't know what's going on.
I got back to the legs. You got some legs. Okay, okay. So you're gonna take them.
Like this, like the walking legs, because I think as far as the body. Yeah, you got it.
2 folds.
So it's skinny.
Just like that, so it looks like that. And then now, you're going to take the
This is
2
tricky.
flaps,
Watch close on this one.
pinch them together, and at the same time pinch the other 2 together, so you're basically just,
Okay, so you got it like this. You're gonna take these 2 and open them and pinch them together. So we're going the other direction. Okay, watch it again.
it looks like that. And then now, you're going to take
So it's like this.
the 2 flaps,
You open them up.
pinch them together,
Let's go in the
and
other
at the same
direction.
time pinch the other 2 together, so you're basically just inverting what you have, and we'll get what it looks like this. And then from there, we can already see a little bit.
Okay, is anybody not to that point?
Push those down like this.
Let me do it one more time, just so everyone's
Like
there.
right here like that, okay?
Just like that, so it looks like that. And then now, you're going to take the 2 flaps, pinch them together, and at the same time pinch the other 2 together, so
I'm
you're
just
basically
repeating, that's
just
it.
inverting what you have, and you'll get what it looks like this. And then from
Okay,
there,
watch this
you
part.
can already see a little bit of crease right
There
here.
should be a crease about halfway down.
Fold up.
A fold. And you're gonna
These
fold right on
parts
it.
on both sides. Flip it over. Fold it up there at the bottom. And then now, you can
Okay,
already see
there's
a little bit of crease right
You're
here.
just gonna fold it up.
Going to
on
fold
top.
up
And it looks like a little poke tap.
these parts on both sides. Flip it over. Fold it up there at the bottom.
Okay,
And
you're pretty
now,
much done, guys. Watch
basically
this part.
invert it again. So pinch these 2 together.
Okay, so now we're inverting. We have our poke tap. You're gonna pinch and pinch, okay? So here it was like this, now you're just gonna fold these 2 together, fold these 2 together. Okay, oh, it's not like this.
And pinch the back 2 together. These parts
Just
on both
repeat
sides.
it, just repeat it.
Flip it over. Fold it up there at the bottom. And then now, basically invert it again. So pinch these 2 together and pinch the back 2 together. Just like that. So now you get this. And then down at the bottom, fold these over to get your wings. Same thing on the other side.
Okay, we'll do that one more time so you can see the.
2 together and pinch the back 2 together.
Repeating instructions, so don't repeat.
Just like that. So now you get this. And then down at the bottom,
So you're making your
fold
wings.
these over to get your wings. Same thing on the other side.
Bailey, where do you hold it down? Like to this line?
Right now, you can see you have the wings. And the second to last step, we want to
Okay,
take
this is
these
the head and the
and along this
tail.
edge right here, basically just kind of pull them out and then pinch it and refold it right along that edge.
Pull it
Same
out.
thing on this side.
Okay, I'll show you that part again.
Then last.
Pull it out. What you pull it out?
Take these and along this edge right here, basically just kind of pull them out and then pinch it and refold it right along that edge. Same thing on this side. Then last step, you take the, for the head, basically push this down and pinch it in,
This one is so.
just like that. And there you have it. You have a
And if you pull the
origami.
body out, you've got more of the body. Okay, now you guys, I want to know who successfully made a crane. Hold it up in the air.
Successful is a.
Hey, I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed. Now, I want you to put your cranes down for just a minute. Put your cranes down for a minute. And I want you to think for a second, how did you feel when I just showed you my crane and said, go ahead and make a crane? How did you feel? Frustrated. Frustrated?
I was like scared. I was like, okay.
What else did you feel? Scared?
Like
Okay.
maybe everyone else knows and I don't.
Oh, maybe I'm the only one that doesn't know. What happened when I gave you this yellow piece of paper? Who felt a little bit better? But who is still pretty confused? That's tough. There's no words. It's just pictures. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing, right? Hey, how did you feel when I handed you this one that had words on it? A little bit better, but it was still frustrating, wasn't it? Because you really didn't know I'm gonna wait till everyone's with me because I want you to hear this part. You really didn't know how to do it, right? Until we did it all together. You guys, why would I put you through this?
Because this is how kids feel.
This is exactly, when we do a dare I say, crappy lesson plan, and we're like, yeah, this, and probably this, and this, and you're like, well, come on, just do it, because we know what we want. This is exactly how kids feel when we don't write good lesson plans. They go, what in the world is she saying? Miss Hamblin, confused. Okay, that's how they feel. Even when you get detailed, are still kids going to have a hard time? Yes, okay? They absolutely are. Which is why we've got to stop, take it step by step, let them help each other, and then we can't give up on kids and get done. I'll be honest, I only did this one time in 5th grade class. They begged, and they begged, and they begged. Can we make cranes because we'd read the book? And I kept saying, no. No, Miss Helen does not have patience for that. No. So finally they said, please, please, please. I said, I'll make you a deal. If I can get 10 parents to come in, we'll do it one afternoon. Everyone will make one crane. That's it. I got to have 10 parents, though. I'm not putting myself through that with 10-year-olds. Well, I had about 12 parents volunteer. Oh, yeah, they would. I'm like, oh, great. So, of course, we had to do it. And they came on in, and they sat and worked with some kids one-on-one. And before we knew it, I mean, there were cranes everywhere. Those kids were so proud of themselves because it was so stinking hard. And some of the parents, they had to help some of the parents. Oh, no, Mrs. Smith, you forgot to invert your pole. Oh, they're helping the kids. And they felt so proud of themselves. I want you to think about if I would have just thrown a paper at them and said, figure it out. Would they have thought that was a cool activity? No. Okay? Your lesson plans have got to be detailed, you guys. We've got to plan for 2 objectives when we're integrating. We can't just go, it'll probably happen. Social studies will probably be integrated in, or reading will probably be integrated in. We want to make sure that we're actually planning for it, okay? Whenever you think, I'm going to do this really quick lesson plan and be done, or I'm going to copy straight out of the CKLA book and not make any adjustments to meet the needs of my learners, or I'm going to copy straight out of the Go Math book and I'm not going to plan for any way to engage them. I want you to think of how frustrating it is for kids, okay? 1, we don't want to bore them, but 2, think about how frustrating it really is. I'd love to put you through this because some of you are just calm as can be, folding away, and others are like, just completely and it's good for you to see because just like you react different, kids react different too, and I want you to be aware of that, okay? The other thing is, who helped someone or was helped by someone? Look around. Who helps someone, that is social studies, you guys. We've got to be getting kids, helping each other, communicating with each other, and getting through it, okay? So I just wanted to frustrate you a little bit because, that's my goal in life. This is a quote that when I was in the block 16, 17 years ago, then this was our quote. We went by this all the time. It's a Benjamin Franklin quote. Who had Benjamin Franklin today? Woohoo! Okay. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. We can't wing it. I hope everybody realizes that. We cannot wing it. You can't go, I don't really want to put in the time planning this lesson. That lesson will fail. Now, might it fail anyway? Yeah, it might, okay? But at least it's not for lack of preparing, and then we can be reflective if we have prepared. I want you to watch this video. And I'm actually going to go, just kidding, I don't want that one. I'm going to go on Safe Share. And again, Safe Share is free, you guys. And it takes out all the ads and all the commercials in the middle. But I want you to watch this and think, what in the world does this video have to do with planning?
Isn't it nice when things just work?
Okay, so I want you to think about it. Talk to your partner. What does that have to do with planning?
All those pieces fell into place. I guess that if you let go of pieces,
Okay, what are some thoughts? What did that have to do with planning?
Every single part of that was fun.
Every single part of that was planning. Anything else you noticed? Yeah, Matt.
If you left out a part, it's all gonna fall through.
For sure, it wouldn't work. Anything else you noticed?
Integration, you got science, you got math.
Oh man, totally. Music, you got the music. I love that part when those little speakers started going. What about how many times did it take for them to get that exactly perfectly right? 607 times. That was the 607th time. So what I want you to realize, don't beat yourself up when your lesson doesn't go exactly as planned. It doesn't for anybody. Even these engineers at Honda, it took 607 times to get it down all the way. But I do want you to realize, if you don't plan, you don't even make it past the first little bit. So make sure that you are planning. Planning is so, so important, especially when you're starting out. You'll get faster at planning as you go throughout your career, but as you're starting, you definitely want to. Okay, you guys, we have an assignment that's not coming up for a long time, but I want to talk about it really quickly. I'm going to ask that you get in your grade level groups. You're thinking, what in the world are those? If you teach 5th grade, raise your hand. You're going to get together. If you teach 4th grade, raise your hand. Go get together. If you teach 3rd grade, raise your hand. Go get together. 2nd grade, 1st grade, there should be 4 of you. Go get together. And kindergarten. Go get together. Okay, get with your group really fast. And then look at me when you're with your group. No, you teach it in
I'll come over there, Morgan.
Okay, if you're with your groups, give me a thumbs up. Okay, what we're going to do, you guys, this is a completely independent activity, and yet you have to be on the same page as your group so that it will work out for you and much less work later in the end. When I showed you breaking down the core and we did underlining the nouns and highlighting the verbs, do you remember when we did that? Okay? And if you want to resubmit, some of you forgot to put your national themes in there, resubmit, I don't care, that's totally fine, I'll score it again. I did a 5th grade standard, this is 5th grade, right? Okay, I did a 5th grade standard, so we're going to get together and we're going to talk about the standards that we did. I talked about the U.S. becoming a superpower after World War II and the events that caused that. Maybe one of them did the revolution, maybe Revolutionary War, maybe one of them did the Civil War. I don't know. We're going to talk about it. We're going to decide which of those standards could we make 3 to 4 lesson plans out of, okay? So we're going to talk really quick. We go, you know what, Revolutionary War might be really good. Okay, great. We don't have to do that, all right? We're going to decide on Revolutionary War. Each one of us is going to write 1 lesson plan. It's not due for about a month, okay? I don't want you to worry about it, but I want you thinking about it. We miss the next 2 Mondays, GWA and President's Day, so I won't see you, so I want you to be thinking about it in time, okay? If we do Revolutionary War, maybe I say I'm going to do the people of the Revolutionary War, and maybe Sean says he wants to do the causes, and maybe Bailey wants to do, I'm making this up, but wants to do the side of the 2 different perspectives, the side of the British, okay? And we're sorry, Brooklyn, I looked at Bailey and I looked at Brooklyn and said, and we decided what we're going to do our lesson plan on. I just can't do the same lesson plan that Sean's doing, or that Brooklyn's doing, are you in 5th grade too, Bailey? Yeah. Or that Bailey's doing, okay? We want to make sure we each have our own topic. So what I want you to do right now, talk about your standards, decide on 1 that you can do 3 to 4 lessons out of. Each person's only doing 1. If you only have 2 in your group, obviously you're only doing 2 lessons, okay? 1st grade group, you got to do 4, so make sure you have a big enough standard. Okay, I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. Talk with your group about your standards.
So breaking a lesson. What standard do you use? But underneath that standard, it looks right.
So you did standard 1.
Just about like
explaining how selective indigenous cultures of the West of the Americas.
So far, I like everything. My overall one, used to learn
We're not.
Oh, I'm gonna pull it up, I promise, I just don't wanna rush it.
Okay, so that's this one. Okay.
If you've decided on a standard, can you just raise your hand so I can tell who's ready? Okay, I'll give you like another minute or so.
Okay, so.
I feel like a lot of going pick a specific objective?
Yeah, each of you pick what you're gonna cover under that standard. Does that make sense?
Even if it was different than the one that we unlocked.
Even if it's different, you're gonna do the same thing.
Just a different objective.
Just different topics under that.
Okay, I'm gonna read them out. Recognize differences.
It was like
Within their
created
school
a
and
community
neighborhood.
and each like
Share stories,
drew a different
book
code
skills,
on
art.
paper. And then when they put
Well, that one,
objectives,
oh, wait, that's one. Okay, well, this is just objective. Yeah. Because I don't think there was any standard.
Don't we have each do a separate objective?
So we can do objective.
Even if under the objectives, there's 3 or 4 parts, we still have to do separate objectives.
So if you can get 2 lessons under one objective, that's fine, but it doesn't work for you now.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Oh, but we just have to plan. We just need to know what math objective is.
So we can pick, like, someone who, we do all objectives. We're all objectives.
Oh, absolutely, and have those each. Yeah, as long as it's under the same standard. Yeah, however you want to break it up.
The same standard.
So, in the end of the objectives under that work, you see one. Hey guys, let me clarify that really quick, because that's a really great question. So some of you might have 3 objectives under one standard. You don't have to cover all 3 of those objectives. You can pick one if you can get 2 or 3 or 4 lessons out of that one standard objective for that standard. Or you can say, I want to do objective 1, you can do objective 2. That's fine too, as long as you're under the same standard. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds to decide.
Objective 2 part A.
Okay.
What is you want?
Do your language arts lesson too.
I definitely like.
How was it all?
Yeah.
What's it word?
Exactly. Prepositions are like near, far, under, over.
Inherit,
Overall. standard one.
Okay, let's hold that together. If you're not quite done, I'll give you the last minute to finalize. But this was a good question that I think it was Sydney that asked me, but no, I don't remember. Okay, let's go over what this assignment looks like. So everyone's doing an individual lesson plan, but it's all based on the same standard. So if I'm doing wants and needs in kindergarten, okay, then I can't do a lesson on wants and needs, and I don't know who's in kindergarten. And Rebecca can also do wants and needs. We're doing two different types of lessons, okay? So this is not due until March 15th. That was a question I think that Sydney asked me. Not due until March 15th. But using the agreed upon standard, maybe you said we want to do standard 3, whatever it is, you're going to individually write an integrated lesson plan for social studies in detail. Notice it says integrated. I don't care if you integrate language arts, science, math, health, PE, art. It doesn't matter to me, but you've got to integrate it with something else because we know we're not going to get to teach social studies in isolation very often, okay? So it's got to be integrated. You're going to include a specific objective for social studies. You should have kind of decided on that just barely. If not, we'll give you some time at the end. And the integrated subject area. So just like we did with our box, we had writing and we also had social studies. 2 objectives. A strong description of what you will do at each step of the lesson plan. Notice I said a strong description. Don't say, kids will put together a report in a box. Tell me how you're going to do that. Remember, it is frustrating for kids and we just assume that they know what we're talking about. Plan in detail. Let's see, how you will differentiate to meet students' needs. I want you to think about the kids in your Iron County placement class. Is there one who might need to work in a group? Is there one who cannot stand to work in a group? Is there one who has an IEP and struggles reading, so you need to make sure you have someone to help them with that? Do you have one who has really struggles with fine motor skills, and you've got to help them with their... Think about your kids' needs, okay? To help them be successful. This is all on campus, by the way, if you are worried about that. Include specific technology that you would use to enhance the lesson. Maybe all you're going to use is an audio enhancement. Maybe you're going to show a video clip. Maybe you're going to have them in Chromebooks. What are you going to use to use technology? And specific assessments throughout the lesson to identify if students are learning, okay? Maybe you're saying, we do the background knowledge on the Revolutionary War. Then I'm checking in with students as they're working with their partner. Then I have a final product that they hand to me so I can see if they understood both objectives, okay? Now, this is the tricky part. It has to be in ICAP format, but you do not have to teach your lesson during practicum. Some of you will panic. I didn't get to teach this while I was out there. You probably won't get to. If you do, fantastic, you guys. I'm so happy, but you don't have to, okay? We'll talk about the reflection a little bit closer, whether you teach it or not. How do you feel it went? I want you to look at this part. You can submit as many times as you'd like before September 15th. Let me say that again. March. You can submit, thank you, March, that was awesome. Before March 15th, and I will rescore it. I am going to be picky on this one. And do you know why I'm going to be picky on this one?
Because we need to learn.
I want to see if you can plan in detail, like we've been talking about. It's so hard when it's confusing. Hey, kids, make this. And they're like, what? Okay, we want to see if you can do it in detail. You can resubmit it as many times as you want. I'll check it as many times as you want till you get the score that you want. But after March 15th, I will not do that anymore, okay? Please make sure it's comprehensive, clear, and addressing both content areas. Not just the writing, not just the social studies, but both content areas or whatever you do. Okay, questions about this? It's not due till later, but I want you to be able to have a good head start. And I had several last semester that wanted to turn it in and turn it in and turn it until I got exactly the score they wanted. I'm not going to be picky as to your activity. I'm going to be picky as to whether it's true integration. And if you've planned accordingly. Okay, we don't want any of these lesson plans that it's like, well, maybe that's what they need. I'm not so sure. Make sure someone else can teach from it, okay? Go ahead and fill that out for me. Thank you, guys. Put all your stuff away. Please don't leave your report in the box or your crane. Take your crane and just spray it probably in your car or in your dresser or something. And then we'll see you, Peggy, I'll see you tomorrow and I'll see you on Wednesday. Hey, Wednesday, don't forget Big 5 presentations. We're going to do those right at the beginning. Yes. Okay, thanks, you guys. Yeah. talking, you're gonna go over what it
Yes,
is.
that's,
A wide
so that's
range.
where it's
Sure, like you just
in my
read.
brain.
What were the
But you don't
reasons
have
for
to
its elimination?
prepare like a poster or something. You're just talking about your handle.
We can break this
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
up. Yeah, one in particular.
Sounds awesome.
So they were able to keep them to a different objective.
Sure, that's fine.
Oh, no. We can all be one.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
We don't take out what we want. Yeah, we can be taken out of objective.
I'll just say it.
I mean, there's a lot in this. So it's all like, if you're like looking at this.
It's not easy.
Ideas, then we could kind of be like, oh, I'll do this.
Sure.
But still.
Don't forget your book when you leave, guys. If you didn't get one, you can keep those. I don't care. If you don't want them, you don't. You can keep those.
Science tomorrow, right? What's that? Science is tomorrow, right? We don't have any homework.
The CPA